Hey guys, this is AC Locke here with Disruptor Manufacturing, and today we're going to talk about hose reels. And I know this is enthralling. You guys are just so excited, just deeply compelling stuff about hose reels. I mean, hose reels are exciting, right? No, they're not exciting. Nobody has changed hose reels at all in the last 50 years. They've been exactly the same design. Nobody's brought any innovation into the hose reel market. They basically wind hose. What can possibly be exciting about winding hose? Well, what can possibly be exciting about it is that Disruptor Manufacturing, my manufacturing company, you get it? Disruptor Manufacturing. Disruptor Manufacturing is the company that comes into the industry and disrupts things. And what we've done is we have brought innovations into the hose reel market that have never been seen before. We're trying to make hose reels exciting again. Can you imagine that? Making hose reels exciting again. So let me point out a few things between our new Stingray line here. This is a Stingray hose reels Manta. This is the Manta model right here. And the Manta here is our flagship hose reel that's our electric hose reel. And we're going to compare it here to the Titan hose reel. Great company. We love Titan. But, you know, there's nothing exciting about Titan reels anymore. They haven't stepped up their game. Everybody that's come into the industry and started producing their own hose reels in the last 18 to 24 months have basically come in and just copied the Titan. And there's nothing exciting about that. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to take a Titan hose reel, which is a wonderful product, I mean the benchmark in our industry, right? And compare it to the new Stingray Manta electric reels. Kind of an apples and apples comparison here of the two products. So let me go ahead and point out one of the major differences right off the top on these hose reels. Titan, in their catalog, and the way they describe their hose reel here, is they describe this hose reel as a full frame hose reel. And what they mean by full frame is that all the way around the reel, all the way up to the midpoint here, this is a full frame reel. It's not a U-frame, but a full frame. Well, we argue the point that this is actually just a half frame, because if you turn it here on the side, you can see that the frame only goes halfway up on the reel. Well, to contrast here, when you look at the Manta reel here from Stingray Reels, this is a true full frame. True full frame. So this reel here is protected and has a frame all the way around it on all four sides, and the Titan just merely has a frame halfway up the sides. So you're getting a lot more benefit. Now you're like, well, okay, AC, where does that really matter? Well, it matters in the fact that if you want to stack two of these typical reels, whether it's a Titan or any other brand out there that has followed this format on the hose reels, you need to buy a stacking kit. And a stacking kit is additional money that you're going to have to spend on this reel to be able to stack two of these reels or three of these reels in the back of a box truck or on a pickup truck or on a trailer or anything like that. You have to add stacking kits. With the Mantas here, the Manta Ray reels, you do not have to buy a stacking kit because these reels are self-stacking. You can stack one reel on top of the next reel on top of the next reel because they are a true full frame reel. Now, let me point out another difference between, for instance, this Titan and a lot of reels in our industry, when you look at the hose reel industry, is if you need hose guides on these reels, you have to purchase separate hose guides. And you have to come in and attach those to the front of the reel. So this is another upcharge or additional money that you need to spend to complete this reel. Well, of course, with the Stingray Reels, Manta Ray reels, you can see built right into the front of the reel here are our mandibles. And this is why we call this the Manta Ray reel. Y'all have seen a manta ray in the water. They have mandibles that come out from their face, and that's where these got their nickname. And so when you pull your hose out of your reel and you need to go to the right or to the left of your truck, the hose catches here in the mandibles and it deflects the hose off to the side. And these are made of a self-lubricating plastic material. Okay? Great additional benefit that is already built in to the Manta Ray reels by Stingray Reels. All right, let me show you something else. This great impact-resistant, self-lubricating plastic here, we use it in another area. So typically on a Titan reel, a Cox reel, a Summit reel, any of those reels, they have metal discs on the side. Now, we all know about FedEx and UPS and a lot of the shipping companies. When you ship a reel like this and they drop the box or they kick the box or I don't know, I think they play cornhole with the boxes sometimes. I just don't get it with these shipping companies. These reels very typically come in damaged. It's not the manufacturer's problem or fault, it's the shipping companies. So because these are metal discs, when the box gets dropped, these discs get bent, you get that reel in the mail from shipping, and you're like, dang it, my reel's bent, it's destroyed. Then you got to go through the claims process and get another reel shipped to you, and that's lost time for you guys. So what we've done here with all of our Stingray reels is we have come in and on our discs, all of our discs are composite, high impact, resistant, self-lubricating plastic discs. And what this allows us to do is this gives us the ability to ship a product, whether it's our manta ray like this, or our Mako reel, which is a half frame reel where the disc is exposed, or our U-frame reels, or any of our custom on-demand reels, which we'll talk about in just a moment. We're able to do these discs, and we've vertically integrated to where we can make the discs 10-inch discs, we can make them 18-inch discs, we can make them 40-inch discs. We can customize reels basically on demand because we have all of the fabricating equipment to make these discs ourselves. We're vertically integrated. So that's another added benefit. Now let me show you something else here on every other hose reel in the industry. This is called a bearing block. Now, if you look at this bearing block, it's made of high impact, kind of an ABS black plastic here, and inside of it is a bearing that allows the spool to spin inside of there. Well, what we've done here to be different, to kind of reinvent, bring a little of excitement back into the reel game, you can look at our bearing block. Our competition's bearing block, our bearing block. And it is very different. In fact, right here, I can bring it up for you. Hold one right here in my hand. This is the example of our actual manifold with the bearing block on it. This, again, is a self-lubricating, high-impact ABS type of plastic. Okay? I believe this one's like an HDPE type of plastic. And we run our manifold through here. It is self-lubricating. It allows the reel to spin inside of there very, very easily. Okay? Keeps everything aligned in there. And then what we did is on a Titan, if you want to have the reel lock in any way, you have to come in here and bolt right in here a reel lock. Something else you have to buy. Even though this reel is a very good value for the money, you're now having to add a stacking kit, you're having to add hose guides, you're having to add locks. Well, on the Stingray reels, on the left-hand side here, we have a tensioner that you can adjust, that you use a wrench to adjust, and it adjusts the tension on your reel so that your hose doesn't backlash. You can control the speed at which your hose comes off the reel. And then on this side over here, you'll notice that we have a cam lock, and this is your locking aid right here to where you tighten this up and you push it over, and it crimps the bearing block together, closes that up, and locks the reel to where you can't spin it. All right? Already built into the reel, you don't have to spend additional money. All right? It's great. So you got things that are very, very typical, very, very the same on both the reels. This here is all aircraft aluminum construction. Ours is all aircraft aluminum construction. Okay? Very, very similar. Both of these reels are very, very well built as far as the aluminum's concerned. That's great. But let me talk about manifolds. This is our competition's manifold. And one of the things I want to point out first about the manifold is this is our manifold. Okay? This is 305 stainless steel. This is 3/16 stainless steel. And one of the ways that you'll see this out in the marketplace, the big difference, is this, even though it's stainless steel, will still rust. It will still corrode on the inside. It'll still get like hardening of the arteries, and we'll get blockages in it. You have to clean this out and do the roto-rooter thing to it every now and then to make sure you get free flow through this manifold. You notice this because when you put these reels, Titan reels or Cox reels or Summit reels or any of those reels on your truck brand new, and they're only using this 305 stainless steel, what ends up happening is if you look at the hose coming out of your reel the next morning, you will see that your hose between your pump and your reel has turned orange. And that's from the rust that's bleeding out of this from the chemicals sitting in your reel overnight. Even just water will do it. With our manifold, you'll notice that the next morning you have no discoloring of your hose. Why? It's because we used a higher grade of stainless steel than our competitors do. So when you look at that, that's a huge difference. Not to mention our competitors use a 1/2-inch ID manifold. So the flow through this is only 1/2 inch. Our manifold is a 3/4. Literally, our manifold eats our competition's manifold. We can fit our competition's manifold inside of our manifold. All right? So when you look at flow restriction here, which manifold is going to give you more flow to your gun, is going to help your pump to operate, is going to keep the wear and tear off your pump and keep your pump from being burdened because you're going to move fluid through the pump quicker? Which manifold? Then additionally, if you look at our manifold just runs through from the swivel, through the manifold, through the bearing block. Actually, here's the swivel, manifold, bearing block, spacer, the disc goes right on there like that. And then right here is where we go ahead and we put a cam with your actual barb fitting. Right here, if you look at our slotted spool, you'll see in there that you literally go right through the swivel, right through the manifold, right to the barb, into the hose. No restrictions. Well, here on our competition's manifold, and I know this is a lot of information, but you've got to understand this. You've got to understand why you're killing pumps, why you've got low operating pressures, why you're not getting as far a reach with your pumps, is because of fluid dynamics, and we have solved those problems, okay? They're using a 1/2 inch, we use a 3/4 inch swivel. They're using a 1/2 inch swivel going into a 1/2 inch pipe, which is already a restriction, and then they do what's called a fish mouth weld right here, which is another 90-degree angle, which creates an eddy, which creates a flow restriction, and then it goes into another 90-degree elbow that creates another eddy and another flow restriction, and then goes into the barb, which creates more flow restriction before it goes into the hose. This manifold right here, engineering-wise, is a disaster. Not to mention, as you add all of these welds, how many of y'all have ever gotten a pinhole leak in your welds and your manifold gone bad, and you have to take it somewhere that does stainless steel welding to go ahead and seal that pinhole leak? This is a flawed design. When you look at ours, there are no welds. It goes straight through the swivel, into the manifold, out directly to the barb fitting and the hose. So ours has 70% less restrictions, and it's a 3/4 inch ID versus this, which is the 1/2 inch ID, and literally you can fit their manifold inside of ours. Huge. The disc flange right here on the manifold, again, is 3/16 stainless steel. When you look at our disc, it slides on here. Our actual slotted drum goes on this, and both sides of the reel sit right on these manifolds. So when you're replacing a manifold, this is the only piece you're replacing, not having to do this entire job right here. But here's the great thing. You never have to worry about replacing the manifolds because our manifolds have a lifetime warranty. If you ever need to replace one, we send it to you for free. That's right, you heard it, for free. Why? Because our manifolds are made of 3/16 stainless steel. It has a lifetime warranty. These manifolds are not going to fail. These bearing blocks are not going to fail. Now, we don't make the swivels. We don't make the swivels, Super Swivel does, but we put super swivels on our reels. So when you look at our reel here, it gets a super swivel. It has a Zerk fitting in it. You can see it right here so that you can grease your fittings. And this swivel will hold up a lot longer than most other standard swivels. Titans and a lot of the other manufacturers, they come with a swivel, but it's generally their baseline swivel. And if you want to upgrade to a super swivel, that costs you, again, more money. All the things we're already including right here in the Manta Ray reel. Okay? The other thing that we did is we realized when we ran the calculations, this is a 12-inch Titan reel. This is a 15-inch Manta reel. And then Titan has an 18-inch reel. Well, what we found out is when you ran the calculations on how much hose that you can put on an 18-inch reel or a 12-inch reel, we found out that a 15-inch reel held as much hose in all the popular sizes that a 12-inch or an 18-inch did. You didn't need a 12-inch or an 18-inch. A 15-inch handled it all. So whether you were using quarter-inch hose for window cleaning, or you're using 3/8 hose for pressure washing, or 3/8 hose clear braid or PCO hose for pest control, or half-inch hose, clear braid or PCO hose for pest control, or you're using 5/8 hose for water feed or for horticultural spraying or soft washing, this reel at 15 inches holds 300 feet of hose. And this reel at 12 inches on some of the hoses holds 300 feet, but when you go to half-inch or 5/8, you have to step up to the 18-inch hose reel, which costs more money. So I could just continue to go through just how all these reels are CE certified, how we've come in and we do not do a chassis ground on these. We actually have a wiring block up underneath here. Our actual box here compared to the Titan, okay, you cannot get CE certification on your spraying equipment or your mechanical equipment, this standard that they put on spraying equipment and other types of industrial equipment. You can't get it if your electrical isn't covered on this side, because people can get their fingers in here and touch this electrical. We increased the size of our box, the hood on the box, and put a side on it so that we can get CE certification on these. And there is no chassis ground. This pump is grounded to the frame, which is grounded to the spraying equipment, which can create fires if you have an electrical short. All of our equipment is not chassis ground. It grounds directly back to the batteries through the wiring block, and that is a CE standard. So I could just go all the way around how our slotted drums are double slotted. It's easy to get the hose in. The hose feeds right out of the slot, right up against the reel. On a Titan or Summit or other reels out there, they have this 90-degree fitting that just pops up like a turtle out of here and out of the actual core of the reel. And you can see right there how that swivel pops up right there. So when you're winding your hose on this, you guys all know, when you're winding your hose back and forth and you're hitting the button, you're winding it up there, you get a bump in your hose and it goes across, you get a bump in your hose and it goes across, you get a bump in your hose and it goes across, and it doesn't level or evenly wind. All the Stingray reels, all evenly level wind all the way across the reel. Little things like that that have been irritating all of us in the industry for years and years and years, that these companies never stopped to solve the problems. Why? Because you kept buying their reels and never challenged them on it. And so Stingray Reels now has come in and solved all of those issues. Okay? One more thing. A wand holder. So this is part of our patent pending design on this. We've got several patents that we've put in on these reels. This is one of them. Nobody ever thought to put a wand holder built in to the front of a hose reel. So whether you're using a pressure washing lance or a pest control lance or a soft washing lance, now you can go ahead and put your wand right here on the front of the reel, which makes storing your wands good. But also too, have you ever seen the guy that didn't lock down his reel and his wand got away from it? And he's going down the road like a tail on a kite with his hose out behind his truck. This won't happen now. It's a huge safety issue that is solved, but also makes the reel in the back of your truck or your trailer, or whatever you're using the reel on, organizes it real well. Okay? Just so many advancements on these reels. I can turn it around from this side. Just beautiful full frame. Because it's full frame, it protects you here from getting into the chain works and all. That's all according to CE. The motors that we use, or our motor has a different shaft on it that allows this compact design. Just all the features and benefits here. They're good looking. We actually added some manta rays on the side of the reel. The reels, another huge point. Gosh, I just turned this thing around. I keep remembering all the things we did. Titans, there's only one side that the actual motor goes on. Only one side. So the switch and the motor only come on this side. Let's say, like on the back of one of our soft wash systems trucks that we build for soft wash systems, you want to go ahead and put actual hose reels side by side stacked. Well, with Titans, you'll have one set of switches in the middle of the reels and another set of switches on the side of the truck. Well, because of the way we did our side plates, I can take and I can move this motor and switch over to the opposite side of the reel, and now you can have side-by-side switches, side-by-side motors, and side-by-side swivels on the back of your truck, cleaning up your install and clearing your side vision so that you don't have blind spots going down your truck or going down your trailer. Just lots and lots of innovation like that. All the hardware's AA rated stainless steel. Just everything on this reel is the absolute best. And P.S., it is the absolute most expensive reel on the market. Why? Because we don't skimp on materials, we don't shortcut, we deliver the absolute best. We take whatever this reel costs in materials and we triple it, and that's the price. We sell it to you so that we can make a profit, and then we stand behind all of our reels, as we do with most all of our equipment that we build at Disruptor Manufacturing for all of our great distributors and suppliers across the world. We stand behind this reel 100% bumper to bumper on this reel with a lifetime warranty to the original owner. Yes, you heard me right. When you get this reel, you register it, you go in our system, you're the original owner of this reel, and if anything breaks on this reel, anything, even though we didn't build it, if the swivel goes bad, we'll send you another one in the mail. Anything on this reel breaks, goes bad, has any issues, we replace it at no cost to you. We stand behind our stuff. So, if you're interested in getting these reels, contact your local distributor, request Stingray Reels, get some Mantas in, get some Makos, which is our half frame reel, or get some of our U-frame reels, which is our limited footprint frame for our reels. Request them, get them into your distributor, and give them a call and order these reels. We guarantee you, you will never buy another reel again. Hey guys, this is AC Lockyer with Disruptor Manufacturing talking about sexy reels. Have a great day.